Hey guys, it's Monday and we are on week 2 of unit 7 and our theme is still teddy bears. So there are a ton of preschooling programs out there that you can buy, and I'm sure many of them are really great, but what I especially love about this program is it really focuses on building the foundation of skills that your child is going to carry with them throughout the rest of their lives. The activities that we do are so simple and seem pretty basic at times. They use common resources that you will have around your home. They're easy to substitute if you don't have exactly what it is that we are using, and they're always math and science and language-based activities and skill-building activities. All of the sorting and the counting that we do is really relevant in your child's life. They're going to sort their toys, they're going to sort their laundry, they're going to sort their dishes when they're putting them away. These types of things really stick with them, really sit back deep in their memory, and they're going to pull from these skills as they carry on throughout their schooling years, as it's so relevant. So that information is going to stick with them, and you're going to see it start to pop up even when you are not asking a certain task of your child. They will naturally start to sort and count and organize and recognize differences and similarities, all those kinds of things that pop up in your day-to-day life. Let's see what supplies we'll need for this week. Gummy bears, obviously. My husband and I ate all the gummy bears from last week, so we had to go buy more. Buttons, pennies, about 15 or so. Teddy bears or other stuffed animals, paint, construction paper, and some sticker dots. The books that we're going to be reading for this week are Corduroy by Don Freeman and The Teddy Bear Picnic by Jimmy Kennedy. So if you have just stumbled upon this video, I will link our entire playlist of our homeschooling with our preschool right from the beginning. It starts from week 1, so you won't miss a thing, even if you're just looking for some interesting activities that are very engaging. So for today, you are going to start with your morning calendar or circle time routine. As always, add the poem and the song for this week, and then reintroduce the topic of learning with teddy bears. Then we're going to get right into our read aloud, which is Corduroy by Don Freeman, and you're always encouraged to do a picture walk through this book first and try to get your child to guess, with your assistance, on what is going to happen on each page as you get there before you do the actual read aloud. So your things to talk about today are simply this book and how the events take place and how the characters are feeling throughout this story. Then we're going to get into our learning activity, which is sorting gummy bears, followed by our easy activity. So let's get to this. This morning I didn't start it with anything on the table, but I will say when Nola came down this morning, she was asking why there was nothing on the table and what activities we were going to be doing today, since there was nothing there. So this time, nothing caught her attention. Crazy kids. So we started out with our Corduroy book, which Nola really liked this book. We watched it a few times through, and each time we watched it, at the end, we would talk about things that were happening, the order of things that were happening, and the feelings the characters were having throughout these events. And Nola was very empathetic with this sad little bear who just wanted somebody to take him home. So after we watched this story, we got into our easy activity, which is button stamps. For this activity, you are supposed to ask your child, what is it that Corduroy was missing, and get the conversation about buttons going, and then just play with buttons. Bury them in rice, bury them in flour, play with them in Play-Doh, make stamps out of them, paint with them, whatever you choose, however you see fit, just to start engaging with some buttons. We had just had our Play-Doh out, so I thought that was a great idea. We got out our Play-Doh and Nola got out her bear stamp, and we had made a corduroy bear. We put some buttons on him, we made a bed for him, and once we had completed that series, Nola had noticed when she said, we're putting the corduroy bear in his bed with his blanket, and it was like a light bulb went off, and she said, bed starts with B, and bear, starts with bear, and she went on through blanket and bed and bear, and she was so proud of herself that she recognized those series of words that she put in a sentence that all started with the letter B. Fantastic. We also rolled out a big mat and just squished all the buttons into it. We had remade corduroy a few different times in a few different colors, and then she started just making balls, calling it her pumpkin patch. This was kind of like our learning activity rolled into our easy activity, but we still did the learning activity later. But she had a bunch of balls out, and we were sorting them by the different colors that they were, by the size that they were. We counted which color had more and which color had less. We lined them all up, biggest to smallest. So we really did quite a bit of sorting with the Play-Doh balls that we had made once she had finished playing with corduroy. And then as we were cleaning everything up and popping the buttons out of the slab of Play-Doh that we had them in, we were really exploring the sizes of them. We counted how many we could see. We talked about which ones we could see better and which ones were hard to make out and things like that. It was a really great time, and we probably engaged in this activity for at least an hour, maybe a little bit longer than that, and she had buckets of fun. Later on today, we got into our learning activity, which is to sort gummy bears. So you were just to draw out a simple columned graph with however many columns as you have of colors of gummy bears. Now, this is up to you whether you want to dump the whole bag or whether you want to pull out a certain amount. What I did for this one is I just made sure that each of the 5 colors had a different amount except for 2. I made sure that 2 colors had the same amount because that's something that we don't usually recognize when we do these sorting and counting activities. Then you're just to let your child sort out the different colors of gummy bears into columns and compare which one has more, which one has less, and in our instance, which 2 were the same. Then when we were finished with this activity, we counted out all the gummy bears, and then we went through and taste tested each color to pick our favorites. So that was it for today. Tuesday, you're to start today off with your regular circle time or calendar routine, add in the poem and song, and then get right into today's read aloud, which is just a repeat of yesterday's. Things to talk about today are just a simple review of the letter B. So you want to have the large and small version both written out on a chalkboard, piece of paper, whiteboard, whatever it is that you got. You also want to go over the sound that this letter makes and some familiar words that begin with the letter B. Our learning activity is counting pennies, if you still have some. And our easy activity is to color our alphabet page. So let's do this. Before we get into today's, I just want to mention one thing about yesterday's that I completely forgot. While we were doing our gummy bear graph and counting them out, as Nola was counting them out, and when we got to the red ones, she had 2 laid on the graph. She picked up 3 from the container, and before she laid them out and counted them, she said, "There's 5 red ones."
Yeah, I'm gonna guess these ones golden. There's 5 red ones.
Wow, okay.
There's 1 red one. See, that's how many there.
How did you know there was 5 before you even counted them? This absolutely blew my mind. I asked her how she knew that we had 5 before counting them. She couldn't really answer, but I don't even know the answer to this yet. But all I know is all this repetitive counting and sorting and graphing, it's working. This morning, we started off with Nola's piggy bank along with the graphing chart from yesterday's gummy bears and our letter B on the table. So this morning I asked if Nola would like to put some money in her bank, as she is quite often asking me for money and she loves to put it in her bank, and we always count and sort before it goes in. So instead of using just the penny today, because we don't have any pennies, I thought we would get out the 5 different coins that we put in her bank and she could sort them out on this little graph and count them. Normally we just sort them on the table, but I had this paper from yesterday, so we'll use it. We got some coins out and then she quickly decided she didn't want to do that anymore. Okay, no problem. Today for the letter B review, I thought, since she's pretty familiar with the letter B and identifying words that start with B, the sound that it makes, I wrote out a few capital and small versions of this letter, thinking perhaps she'd like to try some tracing because this is a new skill that we've just started working on. She loved it. So we had a few pages. I assisted her a little bit here and there just to give her the feel for it, the direction to go, and you know how to go about this. But I really didn't give too much coaching because it's up to her to find her comfort in holding the marker and where, you know, she's going to hold her arm up high or rest it on the table. You know, all of these things, she will find her comfort zone the more that we practice. So I was just there to help her if she asked for my help, but other than that, I just stepped back and let her do it. Now, we did a lot of repetitiveness on this. This was pretty much the only activity that we did today because she was so enthralled in this tracing activity, we just ran with it. So we did probably 8 pages of the letter B, both with the large and small version. Then she asked me for the letter A. So, of course, I wrote out the letter A and she started tracing that letter as well. And she was kind of hot and cold with the tracing, but the more that she did it, the better that it got. She really enjoyed it. And we do a lot of sorting and counting, so I'm really not too concerned that we didn't really do any of that today. She was really zoned in and focused on the tracing, so that is what we stuck with. So I'll mention that the tracing had nothing to do with today's activities. It's just how we were going to review the letter B today. We were just going to add to it a little bit, and you do what is right for you and your kids. Yes, babe.
Can you take me,
Of course. Let's go. Oh, potatoes. Okay. So our easy activity for the day is to print off or draw out the block letter B and have your child paint it or color it like a bumblebee just because it's the letter B. So why not? If they don't want to do a bumblebee, let them color it however they want. But that's the theme for today, is a bumblebee. We'll go check and see how Nola's B is coming along because she's just finishing painting that right now.
Look, there I stamped berry clouds.
Berry clouds?
See?
I see them. They look fantastic. Good job, girl.
All over the place.
Yeah, we'll have to let that baby dry. Wednesday, and what a beautiful sunny Wednesday it is. This morning, you are to start with your morning circle time or calendar routine as usual, along with a poem and song for this unit. Then we are going to get right into today's read aloud, which is the teddy bear picnic. Things to talk about today are to ask your child, what is a picnic? What kind of things do you do on a picnic? What do you bring on a picnic? So I've got that backwards. You're supposed to do the things to talk about first and then watch the story of the teddy bear picnic. Our learning activity is comparing sizes, and our easy activity is some teddy bear art. So let's do this. This morning we didn't start with anything on the table as the activities that we had for the day didn't really fit on the table. So we talk about picnics all the time. We have picnics on a daily basis in this house. It's a picnic, it's a camp out, we're roasting marshmallows. We love playing with food. So we watched the story 3 times through, and Nola really enjoyed the story. It was a little bit confusing because the kids dress up like the bears, but throughout the whole story, you just think that they're bears. So that part was a little bit confusing. Other than that, Nola had no problem telling me what was going on with this book. As I said before, she loves picnics. So this was kind of the main activity that we did today. Nola really wanted to have a picnic. And so we changed it up a little bit. We just yesterday opened up a koala crate, and it was Forest Friends. And it has these great 2 little characters. You make a bear and a fox. And then there's a little tree that has liftable leaf flaps, and there's little tokens in them, and you are to play a matching game. So this coincided perfectly with our picnic. We picnicked under this tree that we ate snacks from. We also invited our 3 little Cabbage Patch dolls that are dressed up in disguise, much like the characters in the book that we read this morning. We brought out our cake and our pizza, and we had all of our little tree snacks, and it was just a glorious day for a picnic as the sun was shining, and we played this picnic on and off all day. So where we could, hey mister, so where I could, I snuck in the learning activity, which is comparing sizes. It's suggested in the program that you have 5 teddy bears or 5 stuffed animals, all at different sizes, and then you will ask your child to find something in the room that is the same as this size bear as you present them with one of the... Yes, the cat went downstairs. As you present them with one of the stuffed animals that you have set up. Just kind of going with the flow of our picnic and what we already had going up. I did this with just random items that we had already had, and we did this also periodically throughout the day as we were playing, or she would just have something in her hand, I would just kind of randomly ask her if she could find something else in the room that is the same size as that. Now, this took some prompting from me. I would have to start giving her clues because whenever it comes to the measuring activities, I have a hard time getting her to engage with these activities. So it just takes a little extra push. I will start giving out clues to like something along the lines of, oh, I see something on the table that might be the same size, or, you know, something like that, just to kind of entice her and trying to get her to play along. Our easy activity for the day is art. You're simply going to ask your child to paint a picture of their favorite teddy bear. This can be paint with whatever you choose. Paint, crayons, markers, food, whatever you want to paint with, whatever they want to paint with. We still haven't gotten this one today. She's really not feeling it, not feeling so artsy. She's really digging the picnic. So I'm not going to push it too much. The characters from our koala crate that we got yesterday, you do have to make them. You put a sticker face on them, you stuff them, and you seal them shut. Plus, with our animal zoo sticker books, usually that's an activity that we do before bed. So we have been constructing animals a lot lately, especially with this unit all last week. So I'm really not going to push this one too much. If she doesn't want to do it, then we'll just stick with the picnic for the day. And that's all for today.
Bye!
Thursday, almost the end of the week. So today you are to start, as always, with your morning circle time or calendar routine, along with the poem and song for this unit. Then for our review topic and things to talk about today are simply to ask your child, what is a picnic? What types of things do we need for a picnic? What do we do when we're on a picnic? Much like yesterday. Then we're going to get into today's read aloud, which is just another repeat of the teddy bear picnic. And also with our things to talk about today, we want to revisit the letter B. So you're going to want to have this written in both the large and the small version on a piece of paper, whiteboard, chalkboard, whatever you've got going on, and talk about some familiar words that you know that begin with B and the sound that this letter makes. Our learning activity today is planning a picnic, and our easy activity is going to be making some placemats for that picnic. So let's do this. You making potatoes for dinner? All right. I love this new phase of potatoes, much better than the drawers. Anyways, this morning we started off with our letter B card on the table, and now I'm starting to get into the habit of writing out a sheet of the letter in both large and small forms for a tracing activity, because that's where we're at with our skill set and learning. So I had a few sheets of paper with the letter B on it this morning on the table, which was completely ignored. We didn't get into the letter B tracing, and we still have not today. She's had zero interest in it, completely fine with me. She also wanted nothing to do with the storybook again today, so once again, okay, she got the idea. And like I mentioned yesterday, we play picnic all the time. So to really break down the process into, planning a picnic and preparing things for the picnic, this is really out of sorts for her. She'd rather just get right into the picnic, but we did get to today's activities. A little later on in the day, we managed to make some placemats after discussing who was going to be at our picnic, which was just our Cabbage Patch dolls that were in disguise that you saw in yesterday's video, along with her brother, myself, and Nola. So we decided we were going to need plates and cups and forks for everybody and make placemats. This is our learning activity today, is to make placemats for your picnic. So you'll have to plan and decide who's coming and how many plates you'll need, if you'll need plates at all, napkins, spoons, forks, things like that. We decided we were going to make 6 placemats since we were going to have 6 people, things, characters, animals, dolls at our picnic. So what we did is we decided everybody will need a cup, a plate, and a fork. So we drew out a large circle for the plate, a small circle for where the cup will go, and then something that kind of resembled a fork for where the fork will be placed. After that, Nola didn't want to decorate them at all. She wanted to write everybody's names on the back of the placemat so we knew whose placemat was which, what, where. Something like that. So we did get through the activities today, although I will say she wasn't really too into it. She was pretty tired when we were doing this. She's on the couch napping right now, which is a miracle. This kid hasn't napped in over a year. So all of this preparation, of course, is for tomorrow when we actually have the picnic, which That's really nothing new to us. Like I said, we have picnics all the time, but I'm gonna try to make this picnic a little bit different. We're gonna set up our other guests. Hey, don't eat the potato, it's not cooked. And we're gonna set them up with their placemats. Come here. This picnic will look a little bit different than our regular picnics tend to. It's Friday and we're finishing this unit strong with the grand finale of finally hosting this picnic. Today you're going to start, as always, with your morning circle time or calendar routine. Then we're going to get right into the read aloud, which is again a repeat of the teddy bear picnic. And then the things to talk about today are to ask your child to recall and recap what happens in this book. Our learning activity for the day is an alphabet review of all the letters that we have covered so far. And our easy activity is to have this picnic we've been planning all week. So let's do this. This morning I started out with the learning activity. So for this activity, you just want to take a plain sheet of paper and write out every letter that we have covered so far, which is in no particular order: A, R, N, C, M, J, S, N. Oh, I got them all. You want to write both capital and small versions of this letter, and then get some of your sticker dot stickers and write out the matching letters that you have written on the sheet, and give your child the sheet of paper and the stickers, and you have them match these stickers with the letters. First thing this morning, we got to our book, which today I didn't ask, I just put it on, because so far for the last few days, since the first time we watched it, the answer's been no, I don't really want to watch it again. So I just put it on while we ate breakfast. Also, with the easy activity items I had on the table, I had just placed the placemats we made yesterday kind of behind everything, just so that they were there and to kind of plant the seed of we're going to have this picnic. Because, you know, we picnic every day, but today when we're supposed to have a picnic is the day she won't want to have a picnic. She did this alphabet review with excitement and completed it rather quickly. So we hung it up on the wall. Then, shortly after that, she had a great idea to finally have our picnic. So first we gathered up all of the items that we had discussed yesterday. We got the placemats, the plates, the cups, the forks. We placed the placemats out on the table, and to identify the placemats, yesterday we had written the names on the backs of the placemat. So I would ask her if she could find me the placemat for the lion. Look for the placemat that starts with the letter L for lion. And this is how we figured out whose placemat was which, if that makes sense. We set everything up on the table, and then Nola meticulously had set all of the items in place on the placemat where they were to go. She poured some pretend water, because we had Colton with us, and you know, he's our captain mess maker. So we had pretend water, then we had gotten some of our play food out, some of the food that we have at our usual picnics, like our pizza and our cake, and then she went to our little plastic food bin and gathered out some items that she thought we also might like to enjoy on this picnic. And we played this for a half an hour, 45 minutes or so, but we have left everything set up. We keep going back to this throughout the day, and I'm sure we will for the rest of the day. Oh, this hair is killing me. I can't wait to chop it off. Oh, much better. Can't wait to cut you off. I can't wait to cut you off. So there you have it. Another fantastic week filled with easy to prep, really engaging skill building activities. Next week we will be starting a new unit. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are considering starting some preschooling at home with your toddler, or just looking for some nice, fun, easy activities, then please don't forget to subscribe.